Parenthood is a subject which many different films have tried to explore to great effect over the years. Often approaching the topic with an air of nuance and humor, these films can be quite affecting in how they cover a universal experience full of so many ups and downs throughout many people's everyday lives. This is exactly the topic that Marielle Heller's newest film, Nightbitch, explores. Now, I'm a huge fan of Heller's previous works, including A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which is such an underrated movie, and I was intrigued by the short yet inadequate description provided for this film. I was unfamiliar with the novel this film was based on, so I went into this one completely blind. Amy Adams actually did an introduction and post-film Q&A for the film at the advanced screening I attended, and before the film started, she told us to prepare ourselves for what we were about to see. Now, I didn't think anything of her warning at the time, but looking back on it, that was, sound advice to say the least. Nightbitch follows the life of a stay-at-home artist who goes through the mundane tasks of her day-to-day life while trying to care for her family. Slowly but surely, her routine takes a turn until her maternal instincts begin to manifest into an external form. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This movie is about a woman turning into a dog. That's it. It's about Amy Adams turning into a dog. Now, to say this movie is wild would be a complete understatement for what the film actually is. This is genuinely the most caught off guard I've been at a movie all year so far. As the plot begins to unravel and the film fully commits to its truly off-the-walls premise, you're left scrambling to find any semblance of what the film is trying to do. This in turn is the film's weakest point ultimately. Amy Adams is a delight as always. Here she portrays such an open vulnerability towards her character that makes her deeply empathetic. We feel for her situation, as she struggles to provide for her kid as she balances the longing and yearning to create art, which is what she feels a passion for. This makes for some deeply human moments in which we as audiences get an emotionally vulnerable look at motherhood and the sacrifices such figures make for the well-being of others over their own, which is supported by Heller's ability to write characters in such an empathetic way, just as she has in her other films. There's certain scenes in here that are full of so much dramatic depth and empathy, they truly stick with you long after the credits roll. Adams is able to portray this vulnerability to great effect and truly sells the performance in such a grounded and nuanced way. As it stands, the canine angle this film goes for attempts to cover solid ground with what it is. As it begins, it turns into a surreal and often grotesque body horror slant, with certain scenes of her transformation that are sure to delight and shock fans of that subgenre of horror. As the film continues, however, the appeal and humor of this plot device is ultimately lost, which is the main problem with the film. For however funny and realistic the film is from a parenthood aspect, the main problem is that the film never attempts to portray a set message on what it's attempting with this specific dog angle. The turning into a dog slant sounds like a fun take on motherhood's similarity with nature, and such an angle would have been interesting to fully explore here. In fact, there are clear attempts throughout to connect this throughout the plot, as the film employs a weak attempt at using flashbacks from Adams' character's own past to portray the state of mind she's experiencing at this point in her life. However, the film ultimately never delivers a solid enough connection between the two to leave any lasting impact. The film is weird for the sake of being weird. It never has much to say, even when it seems like it's going in that direction at times, which is truly unfortunate. This film could have been such a complex and nuanced take on motherhood and everything relating to it, but as it stands, it's a disappointing mix of rambling inner monologues combined with surface-level sequences of dreams in which Adams runs around on all fours, barking. I wish I was joking about that, but I'm not. While it's not a great film overall, and it pains me to have to write such a negative review based on how excited I was going in, there's obviously some great qualities that stick the landing at the end of the day. Amy Adams truly goes all into her performance and sells it in that regard, which is commendable. The casting of Scoot McNairy as the husband is also great, as he's such a complex character that belies some more sinister qualities that are revealed slowly by McNairy's nuances throughout. It's a well shot and produced film in many aspects, as Heller's direction and writing show clear effort and artistic intent. The main problem at the end of the day, however, is to see a film with so much promise and all the right ingredients that completely botches the recipe and decides to improvise by throwing in cheap ingredients we've seen before in other films rather than experimenting with its own unique flair. To say Nightbitch is a movie unlike any I've seen this year is a statement that I feel applies here. Granted, I don't say that in any positive sense whatsoever, but it's also a cinematic experience that I feel many audiences will be delighted, shocked, and even confused by upon its wide release in December. Is it a film I feel you should go out of your way to see, especially in such a crowded time of the year around the holidays? Not necessarily. For those audience members, however, who are searching for that cinematic experience they will not find elsewhere, this is certainly the film for you. That's why I'm giving Nightbitch a 2 out of 5 stars. Nightbitch is in theaters everywhere December 6th. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this review on my channel. If you're new around here and you like the content you see, don't forget to click that subscribe button down below, like the video, and turn on push notifications. Also, leave comment suggestions down below for future video, essay, and review topics. With that being said, until next time, this is Mitchell signing off. Peace out.